Thank you, Congressman Hastings. In the last year and a half, this Congress has held 9 hearings on Puerto Rico, a U.S. territory home to 3.4 million American citizens. These hearings confirm that Puerto Rico is in jeopardy right now. Not next year, now. Island residents are relocating to the states in unprecedented numbers. The Puerto Rico government is on the brink of collapse, a victim of decades of inequality at the federal level and mismanagement at the local level. The government and its instrumentalities have $70 billion in bonded debt. 3 public entities on the island have already defaulted on payments to creditors, and larger defaults appear imminent. Puerto Rico's 3 main pension systems are severely underfunded, placing at risk the retirement security of over 330,000 individuals. The government of Puerto Rico has lost access to the credit markets, so it cannot borrow money to meet current obligations. All objective observers, including virtually every major editorial board in the nation, understand that the government of Puerto Rico must restructure its debts, ideally through voluntary agreements with creditors, but through a court-supervised process if necessary. It is regrettable that we have reached this point, but it is reality. We must confront this challenge with courage and candor. PROMESA gives Puerto Rico the critical tool that it currently lacks, namely a legal mechanism to restructure its debts in an orderly way, ensuring that sacrifice will be shared in a fair and equitable manner. Without PROMESA, the Puerto Rico government is likely to collapse. Participants in public pension plans will be terribly damaged, and most bondholders could lose their investments. Absent this bill, almost nobody wins and nearly everybody loses. Now, PROMESA pairs debt restructuring authority with the creation of an independent oversight board to help the Puerto Rico government better manage its public finances, balance its budgets, become more efficient and transparent, and regain access to the credit markets. There are some Puerto Rico politicians who seek broad debt restructuring authority from Congress, but oppose an oversight board. This is not a realistic option and would result in Puerto Rico receiving nothing. I fully understand the importance of democracy and dignity. As a lifelong advocate for statehood for Puerto Rico, I want full democratic rights for the island on both the national and local level, not fewer democratic rights. My test from day one has been that the board should have the authority to oversee, but not to command and control, the government of Puerto Rico. PROMESA meets this test. After intensive negotiations, the bill establishes a reasonable board with powers far less potent than the powers that Congress gave the board it established for the District of Columbia in 1995. If the Puerto Rico government does its job well, the board will have a limited role and will cease to operate within a few years. PROMESA, like any product of bipartisan compromise, is not perfect. For instance, the minimum wage provision is deeply misguided, and I support Ms. Torres' amendment to remove it from the bill. And I'll explain it in plain language. It makes no sense to apply a different federal minimum wage to Puerto Rico because it simply encourages Puerto Ricans to migrate to the states or otherwise not to seek a job and rely on government assistance. Nevertheless, I should say that there is almost zero chance this provision will affect a single worker in Puerto Rico, since the local government will retain the ability to prevent its use. This bill is the best chance we have to solve the immediate fiscal crisis in Puerto Rico and to place the island on the path to a brighter future. I urge my colleagues to vote yes on the bill.